So, hello everyone. If this works, we should get a video around 21 o'clock at the German time. Um, we stream with 15 minutes delay. That's the usual standard in the league. And we have today the great pleasure to broadcast the match between Wolfpack, French Collision, and Team Komensky. That's basically 11 CRB, WFT, and some mercenaries. We play in the AAS League. That means Advanced and Secure. The difference between AAS and Random AAS is basically that you already know which points will pop up, and therefore you can prepare yourself in advance in how you want to play the map. Wolfpack has opted to start as Germans, that's why they are currently on the American side. After the map change, they will switch over to the German side and attack first. If we take a look on the map, and we already see the map that's upon us, and that we will see today in 2 rounds, you noticed that we have a bunching of points basically around Hotel Street Villa and Kirk. And I would expect that we have very hard battles here, especially due to the fact that the Germans are pretty fast at the hotel, which is the second point that the Allied forces needs to take. And if they are able to attack hotel before the British are able to capture it, then they could gain a speed advantage. The second and third point for the Germans are pretty close together. Kirk and Villa is an interesting choice for points on this map, as they are pretty close. We should take the time to view more or less the German approach to the middle point. I would expect that if one of the two sides decides to play very aggressive, they will go basically for this road, abandon their vehicle somewhere here, and start to infiltrate the city. Very prominent, but in fact not that important to defend the city is, of course, the hotel, which is also an objective on this map. But when you look at the buildings surrounding the hotel, you already see quite quite interesting possibilities to deny the access to the British. Yeah, let me quickly post the stream link to some address. I hope that everything works. I will later, as soon as match starts, I will also try to create a local copy of the stream, just to be sure that I have something to show at the end of the day. And maybe something I also could take and edit down a little bit to the more or less interesting or important parts. Yeah. We see that both teams have started to collect their guys more or less, and have predominantly the 11th CRB currently on the Wehrmacht side, with some players from Nomad and Dino, who is one of the mercenaries in the league. Just in case you don't know, if you want to join the league and you don't have the numbers to field enough players yourself, you can also incorporate people from clans who don't participate in the league as mercenaries in your team. That way, you are able to field a team even if your own numbers for some reason are currently not enough to really participate in a 40 against 40 event. We see that quite obvious the WP guys don't have that problem, but also when we look at some of the names, for example Morpheus here, you see that they boosted the numbers with some of the old Collision Francophone players who unfortunately left the league a couple of days ago. Sorry, a couple of weeks ago. My fault. So the interesting part of this map is that in the direct center, tank fights are very hard to do. It's not absolutely impossible, but as you see, everything is pretty crowded with bushes, buildings, fences, and stuff like that. So it's very easy to sneak up on the enemy tanks as an AT guy. But as soon as you zoom out and you go a little bit into the north, you have more or less an open field, and the same goes for the southern part. So the decision to take Kirk and Villa as possible points, especially Kirk as the second point and Villa as the third point for the Germans, could bring up nice tank fights. Again, if none of the both teams is too aggressive and goes more or less for the objects, we will certainly have a clash around Villa and Hotel Street. We will take a look in that area soon, but for the moment, if you see this open field is perfect for tank gameplay and stuff like that. The Kirk itself is an object in many offensive rounds. You know that it can be tricky to take it. It's more or less a fortification if you play it right. You have to go uphill to take it. On the other side, it's very hard to hide a respawn point for the defending team in the area around the Kirk, because besides the bushes and the terrain next to the Kirk, everything else, as soon as you go a little bit out, is pretty open, and MSPs and FOBs will be found pretty fast. That's also an advantage of playing AS over offensive. Both sides can place FOBs here. That increases the possible spawn points to 4 instead of just the 2 MSPs that you usually have, and make sure that you can, if you want, deploy a very mobile gameplay. So let us take a look at Villa. Villa is, in my eyes, also a very interesting point. Sort of similar, not really, but sort of similar to Kirk, as it's a good point to defend. But other than Kirk, you have a lot of opportunities to hide either an FOB or an MSP in the surrounding of this area. So for the team who simply defends this point, it's incredibly easy to reinforce this point. I know for a fact that back in the first random AS leagues that we had, 11 CRB trained a lot on this map, and for the people who know 11 CRP, the people also know that 11 CRP has the wish or the way to play very aggressive. And if we look forward to it, and that can come in very handy today on this map, where they have to start as allied forces, because even if the Germans might have the advantage when it comes to Kirk and Villa from the timing, and very decisive push either in the city to certainly capture Hotel Street or to the Villa area, will allow the Allied forces at the beginning to also deny the third point to the Germans. I try not to look that much on the map currently because there are marks placed. I don't know if the marks have any real meaning. Therefore, I'm a bit hesitant to show the map. I will try to show the map during the game. One thing that I in the past didn't like of most other casters was that they either focused heavily on tank fights, or they tried to find a good infantry fight. Me myself is platoon lead usually, and therefore the map is in-game my most important tool, and I will also try to incorporate the map as much as possible in the stream, and try to at least guess what both teams are planning. Nevertheless, I will try also to show you some sweet action between tanks and also infantry. Yes. The way the league is structured, it's for 11 CRB to hold their second place in the ladder, and for the guys of WP or Wolfpack, they have currently the chance to climb from the third place to the second place. Who wins this will face the RN9 guys in the next round, and the loser of this round will face DT, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry. So Let me check 1 second. I see that the stream is now starting. I just want to quickly check my own voice. Okay, that seems to work and to sound halfway decent. Somehow blue. I don't know, since I have the newest AMD driver, I sometimes have problems with these stripes on the screen. Well, that shouldn't disturb us too much, as they are quite rarely. I would be highly surprised if we see two fast rounds today. I think both teams are quite similar in their game style and also quite similar in their skill level. If I would have to give a bet, I would be really hard pressed. I'm not entirely sure who goes out as winner. It's always nice to bet on the underdogs. That would be WP at the moment, as they are just on the third place. But like I said before, we will see how it works out. I have to admit that I didn't took a look on the vehicle deck for this map. Let me quickly do that. One advantage of the AIS League is also that the vehicle decks are fixed, so you know exactly what you have, you know exactly what the enemy has, and that allows you to plan accordingly, and also opens up the opportunity to play a little bit mind games with the enemy when it comes to the usage of vehicles. Okay, we have plenty of tanks on both sides. So the Germans will have 3 Panther, 2 Stück 3, 2 Panzer 3F, and 4 Panzer 4Gs, as well as on the light tank sector 2 Panzer 38T, 1 Puma, 2 Panzer II, and 1 SDKFC 222. On the Allied side, we will have 2 Hellcats, 2 Sherman Fireflies, and also 2, 4, 5, 4 Sherman M4A3s and 3 Wolverines. On the light tanks, they have 2 M8 Greyhounds, 2 Stuart, and 2 M24 Chaffees. Besides that, each team has 1 command car, 2 MSP, 2 logi trucks, 2 of their normal transport trucks, and also 1 armored transport truck. So we see that Team Komensky already mentioned that they are ready. They ask on WP if they're ready. Let me shortly check. We have 32 on the one side and 37 on the other side. So as I am on the WP side, I would assume that there is at least someone missing. Both teams should today play with around 39 players. As far as I'm aware, there's someone else also streaming, but I don't see an outsider at the moment. It's quite interesting when I turn around the graphic bug switches from. Let me see if that is only here. Oh yeah, it's a bug in the. That's strange. That was not nice by whoever that was. As it seems like that I don't have any field tracings. Yeah, I will probably bleed to death, but hey, who cares? Yeah, that's the usual pre-match fun of some teams. If people really enjoy to shoot at each other, they shall do so. You see that smoke grenades get thrown around and also hand grenades. I think that's a very special form of warm-up that we see here, but it's not to everyone's taste. That's strange. As soon as I go in, it fades in, and yeah, well, let's hope that it's gone after the map change. I don't know. Ooh. Yeah, I would say that was an TK kick. It's quite unusual that you have TK kick on a match server, but it seems like that 11CIB has it turned on. In case that 11CIB hosts the server, let me quickly check. Not that I say something wrong. Yeah, it's 11CIB. Yeah, we are still waiting for a couple of players. I mean, we see on the WP side that there are currently 32 players online. You always have take one out because I'm also on their side. I hope that they will fill up the numbers. It's quite unfortunate if they play with less players than allowed, but maybe they want to take on the uphill fight, the challenge to play with a couple of players less than the enemy. We will see. So WP sends that they are ready. I will, for the map change, go out of the spectator mode just to be sure that no strange bug happens. 11CRB already earlier mentioned that they're ready, so I expect a map change. I expect a map change pretty soon. Yeah, there's no server restart for the guy who got kicked due to the massive amount of team kills.
Sans que je vais me prendre un passe.
But yes.
Je à tous, super mal.
Je viens de voir la team la plus anarchique du monde.
Oh yeah,
J'ai fait un kill, les gars.
I'm on the French side at the moment.
C'est bien, au moins ça t'en fera.
Sur toute la soirée, ouais.
Au moins t'es sûr d'en avoir un soir.
Auto, je te baise.
We shall fight
Ouais,
in the
ouais,
field.
ouais.
We shall fight
Petit
in
sans
the
face.
city.
Otto, ferme ta gueule!
Yes, whatever is the only thing I could say to that. Yeah. Oh, one moment. I am sorry for that. Give me a second, please. Okay. So, sorry for that. Let me run out of the area where I have the Axis main logo all the time, because it's not really interesting. And I hope that the frame rate is not... screw this. Yeah, I have to fix the AMD driver once the stream is over. I'm sorry for the blue, whatever it is. I hope it will not be that annoying during the stream. So as expected, I see on the German side very aggressive markings, not as aggressive as I thought, but that could be due to the fact that there are currently only 32 players against 37 on the enemy side. It seems like that they will put a heavy pressure on the third point. In the AAS League you get a small bleed once you have more points than the enemies. And the real Mercer bleed starts as soon as you have captured the last point. So we have 5 seconds till the game starts. Let's see how both teams decide to push out of their base, because that will determine how the first minutes of the game will really play out. What we can see is that the platoon leader of the German side, for example, seems to capture Kirk. That's why he's currently driving in the south here. And we also see a half-track, I would assume. Oh no, the AT guy seems to capture the Rankenweg point, and on the Allied side we see an interesting tactic, because the platoon lead, the logistics will probably take the first point. Oh no, they drive over it. Okay, and the MSP also drives over it, and the platoon lead seemed to have made a small mistake there. Okay. Yeah, okay. Why is it important? Well, the platoon lead has twice as much speed when he caps over a regular soldier. So I expect even if they have started later to cap, they will have the point pretty early. So we can now look at this area as we have here the first clashes. And we see that 11 CIB with all their infantry has already went through the first buildings and has started to push out. They are aware of the small French group here in their flank, but other than some people No, okay. They're not really taking care of the enemies in their flank. Okay. That probably means that if the Wolfpack guys are aggressive enough, they will start to take out the enemy rally points here, and with that they will also stop the first flank here. Yeah, that was a good decision by Muddles here to engage Kaizuku in the flank, and it seems like that the squad around Baron von Top are more or less tasked with defending the rally points. Sorry, for Muddles. He seems to be the squad lead. And he works his way slowly up the road here. And had a pretty good run until I would assume, yeah, the muchacho stopped him there, dead in the tracks. We now see that also the first tanks have arrived. A Shafi on the side of 11 CRB or Team Komensky. And also Puma on the side of Wolfpack. So that was a very, very good hit by the AT guy of Wolfpack. Not that much damage, but still, yeah. And the Puma also surrounded the Shafi. They tried to leave the tank, but instantly got stopped by MG there. And the gunner seems to have no clue from where the fire comes. Whew, that was quite unfortunate. And we also see that Kaizuko, as mentioned, was able to take out the rally points here. I'm pretty sure, yeah, he saw the last one, and that, for the moment at least, stopped the attack here. We still have one of the 11 CRB squads in that building, but they really have to hold this for the moment, otherwise they will have a hard time. It seems like that the AT guy of the British have damaged the first punter of the Wolfpack team severely enough so that it has to fall back. We can take a quick peek on the map, but it doesn't seem like that we have a repair station at the moment. That's quite unfortunate. That means that the tank has to drive back to the main base. Unlucky. So the Forest of Doom, basically this forest here, it looks open, but it absolutely promotes bush fights, and the hilly terrain also promotes small arms engagement of all sorts. Very, very hard to push, very easy to hold. Oh, what we see here is also quite interesting. We see an FOB, and in front of the FOB a small bunker, basically to have a little bit more cover when you try to hold down the area here. I'm not that sure that I would approve that, but if 11 CRB thinks that's a good idea, then maybe it's worth it. And as expected from Wolfpack, they really start to push out one of their MSPs to build up a completely new flank. The problem here is that they run into a tank, and it seems like that the tank has spotted the MSP, right? Oh yes, the turret... No! Mate. That was not good. But a nice hit on the Puma at least. But the MSP is now in a quite interesting position, and it also seems like that Shufka did see that there is an MSP. Yeah, okay, now he recognized that there must be something next to him. The MSP must be blocked. Yes, it is. So Riri knows that there must be someone. He is looking for the platoon lead. He sees the jeep, and yeah, he recognized that there must be someone on the roof. Ah, very unfortunate. And as soon as the MSP is spawnable, we see a French popping out there like crazy, and they start to slowly, if we now look on the map, they start to slowly build a half circle around the cap and make it more and more difficult for the Team Komensky to push out. You might see some openings here assisted by the tanks, but you have to keep in mind that you have the road, the very good to defend Villa, and the two spawn possibilities. The two spawn possibilities here. One of the spawn possibilities must belong to the Americans, I'm sorry. Here and there. Yeah, the FOB has been spotted. That was not surprising. And you see now that WP will take it out. Let's watch the mighty explosion. While Bullet is moving in. Oh no, sorry. Iki is moving in for the kill of the FOB probably. Can he place his charge somewhere? No. Okay, he takes a geballte Ladung and finishes it off. No attempts by 11 CRB to get it back by Team Komensky. And even with the lower numbers, it's 33 against 36, WP managed to encircle the point and also has the first people pushing into the city, even if they get spotted and killed. It starts to get very uncomfortable for Team Komensky. They, on the other hand, made a slight push in the source just to end up in squad 8. Let's move over there. Yes, Liquid is moving forward, as well as Status Quo just holding the building as Radio Man, if I see it correctly. Yes, a very nice gun. They try to hold the hedge row here. But it seems like that they got called back. Maybe it's more or less their task to hold this position. That would be possible. And this building is one of the very good key buildings from which you have a good overview of the area from here to the villa. Basically the point where we see Otto von Bismarck is the next point, the point that Team Komensky would have to attack and Wolfpack would have to defend. One thing that I particularly like about AAS and random AAS is the fact that you have a very chaotic battlefield. Other than offensive, both sides have to attack and defend on the same time. That makes it really, really interesting on how they really achieve that. He chases the tank. I hope that he already has mentioned that there is a tank coming, because the Hellcat is more or less in position. Oh, that was a bounce. That was well a hit. I mean, it's not like that the Hellcat has any armor to speak of. Yeah, easy prey for the Panther there. Even if Hellcat is a quite scary name, it's basically a paper-thin tank. But again, oh nice. But again, the tank is quite severely damaged, and we see that the next repair station is basically through the entire point and on the other side of the Hellsome village. We still have some French troops up in the north, and I'm at this point not quite certain what they really want to do there. I mean, there was no real movement by Team Komensky from the north, and I am not sure if they're aware of the MSP that's standing up there. So having them here as a corner guard basically might be a good idea, but I don't know if it's not a waste of resources at that moment. Yeah, that was basically roof climbing 101 here. And now they have a good observer there, but again, there's nothing to observe. So, we see the position we looked earlier on, where Statco and Liquid 2 were fighting around, is basically now a jump-off point into the next cap. We had fightings around this hedgerow, and they managed to work their way up a little bit. We have here... Ooh. Let's see how that plays out. Yep. That happens. Yeah, and the MG sprays the enemy down. Oh, we see a Stuka incoming. And it seems to go... Yeah. That was Stuka for Frisky. Frisky, congratulations, you have been a very, very important enemy, obviously, worth an entire Stuka. What we see here is quite interesting and quite similar to the American Team 1. We see that the guys around Aube have started to take a very important position in the corner. That's this building. It's a very good staging area for an attack in the hotel cap zone. And from time to time they try to push forward. Currently they are assisted in their flank by Kaizuku's guys, who managed at the beginning to take out more or less the first attack. But again, if we look at the map, each team has people who are more or less be out of the battle due to their position, and both teams have pushed towards the cap with Mamad as one guy already in the hotel area, and he only has to take out one radio man and he would have the hotel for himself, which he did until he got killed. Both teams are starting now to make a little bit pressure on the respective caps of the other team, but from the look on the map, I would say the fight is currently slightly in favor of Wolfpack. So we will stay here for the moment and watch the usage of smoke by the team of Kaizuk. They use the syringe to get the players up, and they push slowly forward here just to get suppressed by the MG of the Americans and the Browning. On the German side, we, by the way, hear a nice selection. If I'm not entirely mistaken, the German team seems to prefer the MG34, a very good pick, a very solid MG. In my eyes, much more reliant than the MG42 on the German side. With the more and more pressing of the Germans here in the northwestern part of the cap, we also see that the first rally point of the defender is under pressure. And again, when we take a look on the map, as soon as the Germans are able to take out the rally points of the Americans, the Americans will have a problem to reinforce this cap. And this could mean that this push here is the decisive push when it comes to the fight around this cap area. And keep in mind, currently, even if the number difference is small, we have 33 against 37 players. So with a smaller team, they are currently able to make a lot of pressure on the numerically slightly superior defenders. One thing that you have to keep in mind is that while Wolfpack has the advantage that everyone speaks the same language, Team Komensky is a selection of European players, so they will most certainly speak English and therefore not the mother tongue of most of the players. Yeah, we see that Squad 4 coming from the MSP has cleared out the complete northwestern attack. That is northwestern attack, yes. That was very important, and we see that the squad is respawning on their own MSP and start to move forward again. We have Weymouth here in this corner building, one building that I also consider as very important, even if it doesn't look like it, but it's a good strong point, especially on this side of the map, to use, for example, this angle here to look into the forest, throw grenades in the forest, or that angle here to open that field. Quite interesting choice here to use the caliber 50 MG of the half-track to bring in further suppression. He hasn't used it, he was just in the position to use it. Oh, it looks like that Team Komensky, the FOB of Team Komensky got spotted by a German MG. Yes. They are... Oh no, it's a Team Komensky FOB. Oh, okay, and it has been spotted by the Americans. Yeah. Doris is there playing hide and seek. Quite interesting. I am extremely sure that Abby will not... Yeah, he blew himself to shreds. But the grenade also hit Doris there. Now the question if they get any sort of AT in the area. Oh, quite interesting. It's an exchange, more or less. WP managed to find the American MSP. So both sides will lose one of their two rally point, respawn possibilities here. Oof. Nice clearing, but in all fairness, it's a spotted FOB. It's very hard to move an FOB, so I would expect that we see pretty soon a mosquito incoming to take care of that. In the meantime, let us check whom... Okay, that is an American FOB, but if Boulette is not completely blind, he will have spotted it. And again, once an FOB is spotted, it's more or less gone. Here you have the advantage that the FOB itself is placed under trees, so it could be, if the bomb drops badly, that the FOB at least get not destroyed entirely and just is broken down to the sandsack wall. That would mean that every guy with a shovel can bring it up again. Quite ouch. Quite interestingly, the Germans seem to decide that they don't place anyone there to really defend it, and Nomad was able to kill the Wolfpack guys here again. And as mentioned, once an FOB has been found, there will be most certainly a mosquito, and the mosquito was there and blew it away. So we have Aube and his guys moving into the FOB area. Two of the strongest German guns, the SCG and the G41. Which made short process with the American defending the VFOB directly. We have Boulette as German sniper in a sniper fight with Hubab, but Hubab had the first shot and therefore a slight advantage and took out the enemy there. It's quite interesting. Yeah, and I think there's a Stuka incoming. Let's take a look upwards. The Stuka is not coming down here. Ah, no, it is nice, and there's a bomb dropping. And as expected, you see the bomb missed the target. And we still have the possibilities for the Allied forces to bring the FOB back up, and I think they will try to do so. Let us look at the map and see what happens. We still have the approach out of the southeastern part of the map towards the point, but Squad 3 around Soroni are still able to hold the cap. There's no real decisive attack from the French side so far. Well, that was quite unfortunate. I think he has tried to use a rifle grenade. Oof. Oof. Yeah, the problems with the rally points so close to the point that you have to defend is once the Germans have found the rally points, you have to walk in from the next more or less secure spawn point, and that could be the seconds or the minute that the enemy needs to get a good foothold on the point. Yeah, we have Lee Muchacho, who has basically a field day with his G41. At least until someone else with his Garand had a better day.
rampe à l'entrée.
That would be a perfect building to run in as Pioneer and simply place a 3 kilo charge and finish everyone off in there. Yeah, clearing that building again. Okay,
Ok, Chiab, j'arrive.
quite interesting move. Yeah.
Ah putain.
Yeah, we have one Panzer IV of the WP guys assisting the push for the cap. Give me a second. Ah, okay. Oh, quite interesting. Yeah, when you disable the contours of the enemy or of the players, then you don't see the graphic glitch anymore. It's new. Oh! In the meantime, 11 CIB managed to make a very good push into the villa, and that was widely focused on the other point. I am pretty sure that they're capping currently. And there's no real German defense at the moment, but again, and we see it here with Squad 6. It's quite easy to reinforce this cap. Much easier than it is to reinforce the core cap. Yeah, we have Willix here who tries to hold at least the upper level of this building, but while I think that he will still have a couple of more kills, the main problem is that once they decide to put an end to it, they will simply place a 3 kilo charge and yeah, or they will simply kill him.
Ok, bien joué ça, putain j'ai eu peur.
The problem here is even if you know that there is no possibility for the enemy to come from the other direction, you are still a little bit nervous and always turn around. In this case that was a massive mistake, and would he have been only watching the entrance, he probably would have killed 2 or 3 people more. Well, maybe next time. Yeah, and that was basically the push of Team Komensky for the moment. And we can go back to the battle for the city. And what we see is that now both teams seem to more or less clinch to their points. It's now the fourth squads of the Team Komensky guys around this area. 4 squads if I count the logistics in. Otherwise it's 3 squads, but still it's quite a lot. The main problem of the Germans attacking here at the moment is is that they have a really hard time to get a decisive push into the hotel area. Ticket-wise, I unfortunately don't see the tickets of the enemy, but we have 158 tickets on the side of the Germans, and I would assume that we have slightly less tickets on the side of Team Komensky at the moment. Who, by the way, have dropped also players. On the other hand, if I look at the kills and the death, we see that WP with their slightly more aggressive gameplay have far more death than Team Komensky. So that could play towards Team Komensky in the long run. The problem with the situation here and now is it's always easier said than done, especially as a spectator. But they are very focused around this area, and it is known that they attack from this area. So all defenders are currently looking towards this direction. And what they would have to do is that they would have to start and build up a new flank in the north, like Squad 1. The squad of Aube is currently doing, but instead of going directly back into the forest, what he usually do, he should run more around the ditch here and come in more over this corner. Currently, even the defender who occasionally run around in this area always more or less looking towards the point he's coming from. So it's the attack is now in a situation where the defenders are basically pre-aiming the positions from where the attacker come, and that leads usually to more losses than necessary. We should hurry up and see if we catch the fight there. Yeah. Oh, that was very nice. He still lost his guy. That's quite unfortunately. But the guy's only gunned down, so he can be picked up. And more importantly is will Aube find the rally point that's there, because taking out that rally point is again very important. And if the guy who died here spawns on this rally point, he's basically immediately behind the enemies again, and can therefore assist in defending the point. Or he runs completely in the other direction. Ah, well, who cares? Yeah, I would say we accept the graphic glitches. At least we can see the names.
Vas-y, avance.
Yeah, again, Wolfpack tries to push into the hotel and over the hotel. Again, we see that the defenders don't seem to want to defend the hotel, and I sort of agree with them, because at the end of the day the hotel is a pretty... They are able to place a rally point in there? That's ballsy. And very nice. Okay, now we have a rally point, really... Ah yeah, okay, I see why, because the real point is here. Okay. That's still a very ballsy rally point. It's extremely offensive. It's right in the face of the enemy, and now they, even if they get killed, they are immediately back in action, and they can put up a lot of pressure on the on the American defender. I really like that move. In the meantime, we see that the defending squads of Wolfpack are able to block any attempt of the American to really get a foothold in the villa. Again, it's basically what I said. The villa area. The villa area is quite the strong point. Ooh, and now we see a very important development. WP managed to take the point, and they start to not really, but they start to pour in more and more into the point. And if they manage to cap the point, ooh, Daniel used all his 7 lives to survive the fire here, and ooh, nice shot. By whom? Let's shortly watch the map if... No, okay, perfect. So even with them neutralizing this point, which is a huge thing, they haven't pulled any of their defenders. That's very important. Sometimes teams tend to overestimate their foothold in the next point and start to move defenders already forward to the point because they think they will get it, but in reality they don't, and therefore weaken their defense. In case of Wolfpack, that doesn't happen, and so we see that it's still very fruitless attempts to get into the villa area. The main problem that I see here, but it's understandable as the map seems to be very open, but in reality is not as open as you might think. It's not as open as you might think. They rarely deny the enemy the spawn possibilities. We still have an MSP there that is there from the beginning of the round until now, and I would have to look, but I would assume that this is also a blue, no, it's a red FOB. I stand corrected, but that's basically an FOB in a position where an MSP was previously, and allows the enemy to further go in and put pressure on this cap. What they would have to do is something the AT guy here does. I'm pretty sure that Sweetak is trying to hunt this tank. But what he should do afterwards is to make a run for it and try to find this MSP. They must know that there is somewhere an MSP. Otherwise, I would be highly surprised. So let's see. It's a Panzer IV completely facing the opposite direction. We see the AT guy sneak in from behind. Well, the tank is in a tank fight with the... No. Okay, the other tank has spotted them, but the Panzer IV is not able to spot the enemy, and they hit the default enemy of the tanker, the telephone wire. Svitak was able to take out the... that was basically to show off, I'm pretty sure about that. He really wanted to punish that MG. And yeah, now we have an MG all over the place, more or less. We had an explosion there, let's see what got hit by... If that... I'm sorry, if that was really the hit of a Stuka, I'm impressed. It's always good to see tanks going down to planes. It's hard to hit them, especially if they decide not to move, even if they hear the speed sound of the Stuka incoming. Or maybe not the best choice to gun down a German tanker when his tank is in the proximity. Well, at least it was a trade. Ah. And what we see here is a quite interesting way to defend this point. I mean, we have a couple of players who really dig into the building and who now have constantly to fight back the Americans who come in and are able to take care of the enemies, take care of the defenders. But they also have people running around the cap and are basically outward defenders who intercept everyone who tries to get.
Félicitations.
in. And we have 67
La prochaine est encore plus dure.
one
Ouais.
after
Ouais,
the
vraiment, là,
first round.
J'en ai
Let
chié.
me quickly write that down.
Allez, deuxième manche.
Deuxième manche, n'oubliez pas, personne ne quitte 5 minutes de pause. On va établir la strat avec les SL qui remontent directement dans le channel réunion, s'il vous plaît. Merci.
J'arrive.
Yep.
GG.
From what I've understand, he was not. He would prefer if the squads talk to each other over direct chat or something like that. So we have now a 5-minute break. I will go over to the Wehrmacht again, and also visit that or view this match out of the eyes of the Team Komensky guys. As expected, we had a quite interesting fight around Villa and Hotel Street. I was quite surprised about how passive Wolfpack decided to play the side. I really would have assumed that they go more aggressive towards the Hotel Street. I'm pretty sure, even if it doesn't look like it, due to the fact that they only have to drive down the main road, they are more or less at the same time at least in the area of Hotel Street. So maybe that's 11 CIB's approach to the map. Going down as fast as possible the main road, I would ditch an MSP somewhere here in this area and then start to pour into the Hotel Street. And I'm pretty sure that you can start a quite severe fight around this area. But as long as the Allied forces don't do the same and rush down this field and pour into this villa cap, you will surprise them, and the fight will not be around the second and third cap, but more around the second and first cap of the Allied forces. But again, that's pure speculation on my end. You would have to test that.
Skovka, I want to drive my road.
Yeah, what you said. I'll have one as well.
Aapje!
Shut the fuck up, aapje.
No, you, Aapje.
Yeah, friendly bantering within the Team Komensky. It's always fun. Behave, guys. I'm now on your side. Yeah, I stay airborne. Hello? Okay. I just wrote down the overall tickets, so that we can have an estimation on who has won the round at the end. It's quite an interesting pick to pitch the Germans against the Americans on this map. I'm not entirely sure if the British would have performed slightly better than the Americans due to the fact that, at least in my eyes, the weapons currently the weapon advantage is on the German and British side, and not so much on the American side. But of course, you have the very strong bar, basically an SCG. But if you take the Zappa with the grease gun and the squad lead of the logistics company with the grease gun, you already have per squad one player who is usually not as good as equipped as Sten gun. As a Sten gun. Yeah, sorry for the silence and flying around. Again, I don't know if the teams may mark stuff on the map, so I will not show the map as much as I did before. Yeah, I cannot hide what they're saying. I think at least. Yeah, I'm quite interested to see what 11 CIB or Team Komensky has now planned for their side. Because if we, I know that WFT and 11 CIB know how to play aggressive and fast. And again, sorry, I don't want to show the map because I don't know if the markings are any importance to the enemy. But especially if you keep in mind, you basically have just to run down the main road, and you basically drive straight on this road, and that's everything you need to do. No corners, nothing, and you can run right into the city. I would assume that you can play very, very aggressive for your fourth point as a German, and that would open up the possibility to push the enemy quite early and bring it bring the American and the Allied forces in a very bad situation, because once you are in the city, they have to get you as a German out of the city while you have pretty good weapons to defend the city, and also they have to defend their last point. And they have to do this while they bring back the own forces that previously have attacked Villa. And as a defender, as a defending German, you also have the possibility or the ability to take the squad that has taken Villa and use them to basically wipe out the rally points that the Allied forces have placed between Villa and the Hotel Street point. That could bring the entire Allied attack to a collapse. But yeah, we will see it. I mean, there's a life after restart. I'm absolutely looking forward to this round. The first round was more or less as expected. They have fought pretty well around the Hotel Street point and also around the point, also around the point of Villa. But as I said before, I mean, both of
Little
these,
aapje.
both of the points are very hard to take. The main problem for the Wolfpack guys was that they had a very good approach, but they never really could get around to really take out all the important respawn points of the Germans, and that is also a huge problem when you want to take a point like Hotel. Same goes well, same goes for every point, but especially if you have these close quarter fights, then rally points are extremely important, because you can bring the rally point pretty close to the enemy, and it's still hard for the enemy to find the point. So you have to keep players expanding the circle around the point and really wiping out the rally points of both sides. Same goes for the Team Komensky approach to attacking the Villa. They really, I mean, we saw an MSP by Wolfpack that was basically at the same position the entire map, and even if it was quite far away while it was parked here, it was still a respawn possibility that could be used in case that even the rally point got destroyed, or like we saw earlier, in case that you want to spawn an AT guy to hunt down a tank that's driving in north of the point. So again, let us watch how the teams plan to take the first points. It takes the first points. We see a lot of markings. I think that's because I see markings of both teams. It's quite interesting, flooding of numbers, but yeah. Oh, we immediately see a difference. Yeah, the commander's taking the first point. Okay. Yeah, that will give them the first point far, far ahead. And here you see what I mean. I mean, the Americans are still far away from the point, and we see that the MSP driven by Calbatros here was already here, and that seems pretty equal to each other. But keep in mind, if they would have simply pressed through here and then disembarked and flooded the building area here, they would have a really favorable defending point. And I fear the way they approach the point now, at least, oh, that's a pretty good idea. That is a very, very good idea. At least they put one squad right here, right to push into Hotel Street, and if yeah, they are complaining that they can't get to Villa, but Villa is not that important. This squad here by Willix, they have the very important task, and it looks incredible good what they do. Let's move over there. That is the aggressive gameplay I would have liked to see in the first half. That is really in your face by the German team. I drop all the markers that will make the match maybe harder to watch, but at least we don't have the ugly graphics bug. And we already see the Germans with their weapon advantage pushing into the point. They have at least brought already one squad lead. I will activate it anyway, I'm sorry. They have pushed at least one squad lead already in the building. That's the main cap point, and they have people starting to go in. But on the other hand, due to the slow start, we might have also problems in the villa. That's incredible. We see smoke grenades going down by, I would assume, British mortars. Let me check. Oh, American mortars, not British mortars. Sorry for that. I'm blind. I don't see anything at the moment. I'm sorry for that. I don't see anything. Oh, that is a... Oh, no guys, we have a match. The Americans were able to get into Villa, but the Germans anyway were able to cap it. Oh, that's quite strange. Do they have the platoon lead here? No, it's the cap area. Let me... let's see. What you see now is the cap circle. Yeah, that's quite nice pushback from the Germans back into the cap area. They know that there at least one Thompson is in the cap. Oh my god! Yes, I would say the tank tried to clear the building, got his own guy there. Quite unfortunate. We still have one Wolfpack guy in the cap area, and we also have at least one guy of the German side in the cap area. That means that the cap is at least stable for the moment. We see Wolfpack guys swarming into the cap from the source very aggressively. The Panther got taken out by the Chaffee. I am sure that's not the case, but who cares? Oh, and here we have the situation I mentioned earlier. Once you start to take out the rally points, it will be harder for the defenders to reinforce their cap. But it really looks like that the WFT has now taken control. And like I said at the beginning of the game, you see... let me get rid of that. You see that you can really easily bring in FOBs or MSPs close to the cap, and you can still more or less hide them there. Yeah, quite interesting, quite interesting. Let me check. There's no real respawn possibilities for the Americans. That means once the Germans are able to take out the rally points, this cap will be more or less safe. Who is the guy? No one anymore. Doris. Let's hope that Doris has at least mentioned that enemies are coming in. I am not sure if I'm happy with Kaiser's position. Keep in mind as the... oh, that was close. Keep in mind as Wolfpack defended, they defended the building here at this position, and you see that you can look into... you can look into the door area here. Now you run. Now you have to be careful that they don't start to throw grenades and stuff like that. Yeah, and he basically lost the momentum here and yeah, got taken out by a bar. Whew, that's quite unfortunate. So, let me quickly fly down. Oh yeah, the cap is already neutral again, and this cap belongs to the Americans. Whew, that could turn out to be a very ugly match for the Team Komensky guys, because they had the idea to push in very fast. But in my eyes, they didn't do it determined enough to really make a change there. And now they're in the position, in the complete opposite position. They now have to see how they come back to the villa point. And will have to face the fact that they also have Americans in their back. That's quite unfortunate. We have the Shafi of Wolfpack circling around the cap area, and I'm not entirely sure if the Shafi managed to see the FOB there. Yeah, nice idea by the Germans to throw some smoke. That denies a lot of visibility to the tank. If it will... Oh, that was a quite interesting nade, exploding somehow in the air, okay. Yeah, that doesn't look good for the 11 CIB at the moment. Holy shit. Holy moly, and we already see that Kirk is also taken away. The Morpheus as platoon lead of the American placed himself already in the Kirk. He took the 4th point. We now have the ticket bleed by 1 ticket every minute or something like that. It's a small ticket bleed, but still a ticket bleed. And now we have a big problem. We still have troops around Hotel Street, which is completely unnecessary. The team must die as soon as possible. Maybe take 1 or 2 enemies with you, but then die. Make sure that you, if you're an attacking squad, push over to this FOB and go in, attack Villa, or join at the MSP here. And go and attack Kirk. And I am pretty sure that Ang might have spotted the... No, okay, he might have not spotted the MST. That's good. The question is, will... that doesn't look good. If Capo... Yeah, nice shot. That was very important. If Capo would have spotted the MSP, that would have been over. That really would have been over. That was a good trade. Yeah, a grenade as safety measurement. I am pretty sure that Friska now reports in that he is capping back the Kirk, which is really important. But oh, we see a blitzkrieg, but not by the German team. We see it by the American team. We already have enemies at the last point, and again, the platoon lead is one of them. Keep in mind, the platoon lead doubles the cap rate and makes it easier to cap a point and harder to defend the point. We see no German currently at this point. That could be really devastating, and we still have people around this area. Whew, oof, 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 oof. That could end. No, that could be to the advantage. Willix, I would like to scream at you. Stop chasing the tank. Turn around. Place your butt into the villa. And that could be a very good comeback here. Because they will not be able to neutralize the cap, if I'm correct. And the Germans will take the Kirk quite certainly. They have to take out this pesky FOB there. But once they have taken back the Kirk spawn point, Squad 1 can run into the villa and take the villa. Nice. And now no defender is left at villa. Squad 1 can simply go in there, cap villa. Squad 3 is coming from here, will be spotted by Ranger Goo, and all the Allied forces are too far advanced to be of impact at the moment. We will see a fight around Kirk, that's for sure, but far more important is what will Ranger Goo do. Enemies basically sneaking behind him through the hedges. By sheer luck, or maybe a good headset, he has finally acknowledged that there are enemies behind him. He has now two possibilities. Warn his mates and look for the rally point, or go in and try to kill the enemies. He seems to decide that he wants to go in, but got mowed down by the Browning of whoever that was. Let's quickly fly down here and see where they have the rally point. Do I have it deactivated by... No. What a really good comeback. The FOB has been found. Now the Americans are in the position where they have to be careful, because we already have a squad going for Hotel Street. Let's look how this clash works. The FOB is still operational, which is quite surprising. And now they have the problem that they had last time. They would have to get into Villa. Villa is very hard to attack. They come in man by man and got taken out quite fast. We have now to see how fast will be the guys that are currently at Kirk. If I put them, I would say respawn, guys, respawn at the FOB and put everything in to Hotel Street, because now the Americans have the problem that they have to reorganize themselves. They have to come back. They have to take the caps. the caps back that are belonging now to the Germans. And we see a very good and strong presence of the Germans here in the cap area. For the moment, that's really really well done by Team Komensky. They went into the city and they started to take houses. One thing they probably not waiting for are the troops coming from the southeast, basically into the backs. I'm sorry for that. Into the backs. That could be quite surprising. Yeah, there comes Mosquito just to make sure that there is no defender left in the building. Of course, you cannot cancel an attack once it's commanded, but it would have been unnecessary to do so. Anyway, the cap is neutral, and that is at least a very good achievement. And now we basically see more or less the same problem on the other side, that the Team Komensky guys have to reorganize themselves. The FOB that was was in working condition just a couple of minutes ago is now at least bomb striked, so it's probably down to its sex, but it can be rebuilt. Maybe one of the tank guys simply jumps out and takes a shovel in the hand, but it seems like that there's a whatever. Here's a small fight around the FOB, but we all see the skull there, so the Ranger has placed his 3 kilo charge and the FOB is gone. Very nice, very nice. Quite interesting change of events here. Team Komensky has been thrown out of the villa again. That means if they are not able to secure Hotel Street, they're in a bad trouble there, because now the pendulum again swings over to the Allied forces. But again, they are quite heavily here in this cap area. The problem at the moment is that they not really have what's happening here. Okay, quite interesting move. Let's move over to the city fight. It is quite hard in AAS to keep an eye on the good fights because they're basically happening everywhere. We see that Team Komensky again puts a lot of pressure into that building. It's still a neutral cap. I wish I could see how far the flag is gone, but that's unfortunately not possible. A lot of smoke is going out. I am not sure if I agree to that. A lot of smoke seems to be American smoke, and I'm not sure if they assist the Germans with it at the moment. The American carabine is a very ugly weapon. Ooh, he got basically fisted. And the Americans have taken the cap back. Now the race for this cap starts. We see that there is no squad of Team Komensky really close to the point. The FOB has been repaired. Good moves there. That was really important. And now they can start to reinforce the villa cap. But again, now we have exactly the opposite situation. The Americans are holding the villa. It's a very strong point. Very good to defend. you see the defenders circling around the building, looking through the windows, going on the balcony, enjoying the view, and randomly taking out Germans who try to approach the villa. It will be very, very hard at the moment to get reinforcements into a position where they really can hurt the villa. What surprises me is the behavior of Ultra in this situation. I mean, this fob was at least spotted. I mean, it was damaged. They must know that in this area was an FOB. Once the enemies start to spawn in again, I would always send someone to check it out. And it seems like that Ego now has spotted the FOB and will go in for the kill here. Will he get spotted? No. Will he spot? No. Okay, he don't has to see the guy. That's good. He has a bazooka for some reason. No, he has something else for some reason. Germans are spawning in. And they traded. Phew. So the Germans can be happy. That was more luck than everything else, to be honest. The Radiman was more or less already gone. Turned around, had the luck that they traded the kill, and therefore the FOB is safe for another couple of minutes. Villa has been taken by the Americans again, and we see again that there's already an American player. Let me at least see who it is. It's Robusto. In the Kirk cap circle, we see that Doros rushes an MSP there to bring in the respawn possibilities for the Germans, and to at least hold the Kirk for another minute. If we zoom out, we see that the Americans have no real spawn possibility at around the cap around the Kirk cap. That means once the Germans can start to flood into the Kirk, they will be able to defend it, and there are even Germans coming back. So we again see the Chaffee of the Air Chaffee of the Americans rushing back into the area of the Villa cap. The FOB has finally been taken out. That was about time in my eyes. It was too long active. I don't know why the position hasn't been checked after the Mosquito hit it, but it is how it is. And now the Americans for the first time really have superiority in this area, and we are again in a situation where we have Germans still in the area of Hotel Street, basically fighting their own shadows, and they now start slightly to run back towards the point. Whew. Doris and his guys and the Nomad guys have retaken the Kirk. That was not surprising. Ultra must have seen the MSP driving down and will make a nice firework out of it. Yeah, there goes an American FOB up. This FOB will be quite important because it's basically the nearest spawn point for the Americans when it comes to the Kirk situation, but on the other hand they also have to push more or less over either open country, or they have to go through the woods and then jump here into the trench system and basically follow the trench system into the cap. But nevertheless, the Americans now have spawn possibility in the area of Kirk and will now start to put pressure on the Kirk area. The Germans, who had a very strong hold on Hotel, are now in a quite interesting situation, because now they can push in from behind towards the villa defenders, and we already see, and I'm sorry that I was on the other end of the map, can already see the first approaches into that area. Yeah, nice one there. Yeah, they are pushing in. Oh, look to your left! I would like to scream, but I'm not allowed to. Behind you, mate, behind you. Oh yeah, who cares, who cares? And again, we will have most certainly people. Most certainly people in the cap area, yeah. The fight for the cap starts now. The problem here is that the Americans have an FOB to reinforce their guys, and it seems like that they also have an MSP. I will check that, but as I see that squad 6 comes from there, I'm quite certain that it's an American MSP. That means they have two good points to reinforce the Villa cap, while the Germans just have an FOB there. I like the FOB position there because it allows also an attack on Hotel Street. I also like the balls behind keeping players in the Hotel Street cap, but keep in mind that you lose at this moment offensive capabilities. Again, it's always easy to say that when you're the observing eye in the sky, so to speak. It's very hard to make these calls as squad lead and platoon lead while you're in game, but I think it's quite interesting. Holy shit, Fido! You must have seen that your guy got killed. And it seems like that the Shadow Score hasn't called in where the enemy was. Whew. Willix, thank you, man, for killing the guy. Yeah, grenades got yeeted. Yeah, we have 175 deaths to 208. Again, Wolfpack is has slightly more deaths than Team Komensky, but they played far more aggressive, and that usually leads to a couple more deaths. But that allowed them to take the church. And again, it seems like holy shit! I think I have to look at the church. It seems like that they got at least a couple of players into the church. Let's see what the AT guy can do against the tank. It's Ultra again. Ultra, who got the MSP earlier. It seems like that this area is more or less his hunting ground. He tries to anticipate where the tank drives, but yeah, who cares? Yeah, Doros and his squad tries to take back the church area. Why do I hear a rally point in here? Nice one. So let's see if... unlucky. Again, a good play by Aube. He has also had some good situations during the first round, and now he bled to death if I see... no, he just moved up. Sorry. My fault. So, let's use my special view to see what they do there. Unlucky, unlucky. The ID from Frisky was pretty good. He had the ping of the Garand, but the reload was faster than anticipated, and therefore the enemy had the upper hand. We see basically that on the one side Doro squad spawns, on the other side, the squad of Aube spawns. They are more or less just pouring in and around the church and try to kill each other. The question here will be who will find the rally point of the other team first, because again the Americans at least have an FOB in this area, but there's no MSP or anything like it in the area in the area of Kirk for the Germans. Dorus was able to clear the church entirely. Yes, they now have to keep the entrances. I not fully agree with having the